Deborah, with her 30 years of being an Ultrapreneur and creating over 7 companies, knows exactly what it means to accept the mission. When you make that decision, when you accept the mission to become a solopreneur, to take yourself and your talents to market, then you embrace a life of not only unlimited possibilities, but also the unknown. It's an elixir of fear and bravery that only someone who's taken the leap really understands. On our show, Deb digs deep with her guests to highlight what you, the listener, wants to know. The stories, the whys, and the hows to navigate the journey to success. Get ready to hear from some of the most incredible mission takers from Generation Z to Boomers. So sit up, perk up, and get ready to be blown away. Now here is your host, Deborah Drummond.
Hello. Welcome back to Mission Accepted. And hello, Justin. Thank you for joining us today. You guys, love it. I don't want to say I'm so excited about our guest today because I say that every time. I'm enthralled. I'm excited for you. You guys, I'm excited for you because I already get to know these people. So they're already in my wingspan, and you guys get to tap into what the most creative people are doing. If you think about entrepreneurs, by the way, it's called Mission Accepted. And if you didn't know, this show is about sharing the word of entrepreneurship, ultrapreneurship. What's that? It's entrepreneurs that just can't say no. Creatives and self-funding media. There's such incredible stories of gumption and desire, sometimes forced desire. Sometimes we don't roll into this world of entrepreneurship, fully funded with an MBA, with lots of money in the bank, all of our contacts lined up. It is a journey. And if you yourself are deciding or thinking or wanting to take the mission, or you just want to hear other people doing this crazy stuff, you've landed in the right place. So this is all about taking the mission. And, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, which you'll soon hear Justin truly is, you make that decision every day that you get up. I don't think when you decide to do something that's passion fueled, that you wake up every morning and decide not. I think it's somewhere deep inside. And the further you are in this game of entrepreneurship, the harder it is to get out. Fair warning. Anyways, we have Justin Saint with us today. Very excited. We have yet to interview somebody in his sector. So I'm very excited to have him on. Justin, welcome to Mission Accepted today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be the first.
It's always great to be the first. So Justin, you have quite an interesting career, and you are in voiceover.
Yes.
You are in voiceover. You're one of our powerful creatives. People know who you are. You have had success in your career. And I know as we were chatting a week or two ago, you were telling me a little bit about your story of what it was like to break into your sector. Much like that's when I use the word creatives, you guys, it's singers, it's dancers, it's journalists, it's artists, it's authors. And we're all looking for our break, just like that entrepreneur is looking for that contact that makes that big deal, that big close, that makes, that just makes it worth it. That just gives us that confirmation that, yes, I'm on the right path. And you were sharing with me that you had a very interesting break. Tell us a little bit about coming into the industry. What makes someone go, I want to talk someone else's voice? Where does that come from?
So I've always been in love with animation. So Saturday morning cartoons. My first memory was actually watching Beauty and the Beast in the cinema in 1991. It's a very vivid memory. I remember which mall it was at. I remember the poster. I remember watching the movie. I remember where we went for dinner after with my family. That's how in love I was with the movie Beauty and the Beast, and just seeing all of these magical moments happen on screen. So and that happened in 1991 when I was 4. And that really stuck with me. So ever since then, it's I enjoy I enjoy plays, I enjoy movies, but something about animation just really ignites that spark, that wonder, that feeling of just joy. And so I did kind of get an early start in acting. I was the hero in the kindergarten play, and I was already winning awards when for elocution and kind of speaking when I was early on. But unfortunately, I do have a very conservative kind of Filipino Chinese family, so they did kind of stop that for a while. So for a while it was my dad I guess, knew just how much I wanted to be an actor. So he really put the brakes on it because he was like, no, like you're supposed to do math. You're going to be a doctor. As
Yes.
as it happens.
As it happens.
And thankfully, over the pandemic, um, it was like all of the people on the sidelines got taken away. Which I know is it's kind of weird to say, but it was like the first 6 months of the pandemic, I was alone. Like I was really adhering to the social distancing rules. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had nobody around me. I felt like I was going crazy. So um I started going online and I started, singing all these random songs in different voices. Oh, I love singing so much. And then so I just to kind of keep myself sane, I kind of tapped back into that acting energy. So I started and I forgot that all of that was in me, that that I could access all these different voices. Um and I was playing Pokemon. Mission accepted. With my friend Laura in the park near my place, and then she mentioned that she was going to take a voiceover class. Um, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, I miss acting school." And then you can do this online on Zoom, just as we're talking right now. And it's like the pandemic opened up all of these like amazing avenues because it forced everyone to kind of connect in ways that we never had before. So then, as an actor, it was like I could suddenly go back to acting school, and my parents were none the wiser. um, and so, I just kind of jumped straight into it. And luckily, I'm Filipino, and my coach is also Filipino, Jesse Nucalia. So he's on a Netflix show called The Dragon Prince.
Mm-hmm.
And then he connected me with another teacher in LA, who is the boss baby. He voices Boss Baby on the Netflix cartoon. So now I have two Netflix coaches. And about a year and a half later, I then got hired for a Netflix show myself. So I'm now in the show Strawberry Shortcake, which just blew my mind that I even got hired because I knew about the original, doll line
Yeah.
from like the 80s. Yeah, and then I ended up I'm the new voice of Raisin. I'm Raisin Cane, who is a non-binary berry on Strawberry Shortcake. So yeah, that's yeah, it's still it's still weird to me that I'm in a Netflix cartoon. Yeah.
That's an amazing story. And let's just kind of what I say is unpack that a little bit. So very interesting. There's times where, you talked about not being in that, for lack of a better word, maybe supportive environment or understanding environment, right? And so many people have that experience. And we hear it a lot as independents that it is incredibly critical on who you are hanging out with. So much so that there's almost a metaphysical business law that says that if you look at the five people, I mean, it's, one of Bob Proctor's laws, one of the, laws of leadership. John Maxwell talks a lot about it. But if you look at the five people you're associating with, you by osmosis, by nature, by energetics, by physical, by metaphysical, whatever you want to call it, will be somewhere in the middle. Will
Yeah.
be somewhere in the middle. And so it's really difficult, first of all, when you're deciding to do something that maybe no one else in the family's done. I certainly related to that. I was the first entrepreneur in the family. They used to call me City Slicker. They were like, "Oh, you," like literally, it was like, "Oh, you." And what do you mean aromatherapy? I literally got told no one will buy aromatherapy, and this was like 30 years ago. So good on them. And so it's very important as you talk that I think it's very. I mean, there's silver linings in everything. And the silver lining for you was being able to have quiet time and listen to your own voice and sometimes have those things removed. I think sometimes it's challenging when we have relationships even shift or people move on that we have drawn on for support for whatever reason. And then we're left to our own device, which is why I think meditation is important, journaling is important, picking the right coach is important, hanging with right people is important, because as you embark and continue to embark in your journey, having those people that can surround you and cheer you on, even if they don't know anything about your dream. Like I have people in my life, honestly, they wouldn't have a clue about what it takes to do what it is that I do. All they know is that it makes me happy and it's good enough. And they're going to encourage me when I want to stop, quit, or misunderstand what's going on. So that's a really big piece, I think. Because not only, I mean, you're sharing about it more from like a family culture standpoint, maybe from a cultural standpoint, but it is very thick within friendship, within circle, within business, even people that are working corporate, or they have that, 9 to 5, 10 to 4, 11 to 3, I don't know, whatever. Is there a 9 to 5 anymore? Job. And those people, as someone starts to kind of break out of that crowd and start to even do something side gig, you're like, you think that they're going to be more excited for you than they did. A good friend of mine was an author in one of our books, and she has this great circle of friends. And so she invited them all to the launch. And she told me about, a week later, she goes, can I have a private conversation with you? I'm like, absolutely. And she said, it broke my heart. She goes, I invited all my closest, what I thought my closest friends, and not one person came. And I'm like, okay, so as sad as that is, she goes, but man, did it ever show me that I need to shift, right? That I need to shift. And so I don't know why I went down that path. Someone needed to hear it today, but I'm so grateful that you shared that, because many times people just kind of keep that to themselves, like as if it's they're the only person that has to fight that battle. Right.
Yeah. And honestly, and more power to the people that like have family support. I'm so jealous. and it's not to say that I don't. It's just that my family doesn't fully understand kind of the path that I'm on. And the thing that always kind of made me go is I've always been able to do both. Like, I was always the mathlete who was also in choir kind of thing. Like, it's not like you have to separate these things. So I'm from the Philippines, so I migrated here in 2004. So I've lived in Asia about half my life, and I've lived in Canada about half my life. And right before we left, I was can't remember what position I was in, but I was leading the astronomy club, as a nerd does, for the Philippine Science High School. So I was kind of in like the kind of science focused school for the country. And then so we had like a joint kind of stargazing night with the Philippine Art School. And I got to go on this field trip because I was one of the guys that like, I can't do it anymore, but I was one of the guys that would like set up the telescopes. And then I just remember after I was done, I had this like hour-long conversation with the principal of the art school. And this would never happen with my own school. I don't think I think I had like one very awkward conversation with the science principal, but the art principal and I got along like a house on fire. Like we just started talking about how science is art, like, and I kind of already knew this because like I love physics class where like we'd kind of play with different like light colors of light and it would make all these new colors. And music is obviously very mathematical. If you're at a dance club, you're listening to the techno beat, it's all math. And everyone's like, how do you know what's going to happen? Have you heard this song before? No, it's all math.
Yes.
And, so I do still feel that, kind of my parents forcing me to like do all the studies for math and science really did help me in the long run because it's all applied. I'm still, I'm never going to use biology 12 ever again, but at least like kind of there's all these things that you can pull from your upbringing and for me as well. It was funny. I was actually going to bring up the 5 people around you thing because over time, and again, kind of going back to kind of being alone, when you're forced to be alone, it was like I kind of was forced because we had to make our own bubbles, right? So I really ended up choosing people that were in the industry as well, as kind of my people to kind of support me through the pandemic when it started. And I really feel that being away from all the microaggressions that kind of happen, like slitty slicker, because for me it wasn't just my family. Like I had a boss that would be like, oh, you're such a good singer for karaoke, and I'm just like, and she would keep repeating that, and it was like, it's like, thanks, but stop, God. And it is, and it's already really hard because as an actor, you most of the job is getting rejected. you know, and as my coach keeps repeating, every actor is fully qualified for the job that they apply for. It's just a matter of luck, really. It's just kind of timing. Like, did they like what you sent? Because whoever's listening to these auditions, they're listening to, you know, hundreds at a time sometimes. And then some, you know, they probably won't be listening to all of them. They'll be listening to half of them really tired.
Yeah.
So really it's more about just trying and just not breaking down. And I do appreciate the voiceover community because it's the first community where I really feel like we're all championing each other.
Mm.
Because I think we all know just how hard it is. And it I used to be quite the jealous type, but as a voiceover actor, I really don't, because we really do celebrate each other's successes. Um, and as a non-binary actor specifically, it's also the first time where I entered a space where everyone understood my gender.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think I've been on TV more often as a woman. So I've been on the TV show Woke, as a drag, in drag.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in a bunch of music videos, always in drag. Like, I've been on the show Untold Stories of the ER in drag as well. So me as an actor, most of my career up until now has been kind of playing trans women. And uh but you know, as a voice actor, I tend to work down better, like, you know, these tones are usually what they want. So I think voice actors really understand that it's not a duality. It's not like we have to choose, you know. It's like
Right.
playing a D&D character, a video game character. Like, why do I have to be the guy character all the time? Why do I have to be the girl character all the time? You know, why can't
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know, I have the ability to portray all these different options. And I do think that I am kind of entering the industry at just the right time,
Right.
because I don't think the industry was ready to kind of accept this amount of diversity before. I do feel that there's certain actors, like Sandra Oh. So Sandra
Mm-hmm.
Oh for me is like a
Yeah.
Canadian, like,
Yeah.
icon hero. When I first arrived in Canada, the most shocking thing to me was turning on the TV or being on the bus and not seeing somebody that looked like me,
Right.
even down to
Right.
things like laundry ads. Because in the
Right.
Philippines, you turn on the TV, it's Filipino faces everywhere.
Right.
You're driving down the street, there's Filipino faces on the billboards.
Right.
You go here, and it's like, well, this was in 2004. It is getting
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
But when I first arrived in Canada, it was like, why are there no like Asian faces on the ads? Like,
Yeah.
and that's just the ads. Like, you know, like you go to
Yeah.
TV, and at the time there was this big thing where if you were Asian, you kind of got stuck with the service roles.
Okay.
Somebody pointed out, I think it was Joe Coy, a Filipino comedian, he pointed out, like, why are there no nurses in ER? Why are there no
Exactly.
Filipino nurses? Like, I think it took Grey's Anatomy like
Yeah.
17 seasons to finally get a Filipino nurse on the show. And it's like, really, Grey's Anatomy? Come on, Shonda Rhimes.
Oh my God,
Uh,
I love him. I love
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do feel that I am entering the industry at a great time as well. I have a friend from LA that's kind of like, you should move here, girl, you get all the gigs. And I'm like, I don't want to leave Canada though.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, thank you for that point, because I believe that from a timing standpoint, sometimes we forget. First of all, when you're doing your craft, when you're doing your career, we take things personally because it's us. As an entrepreneur, we put ourselves on the line. We put our projects forward. We put our offers forward. And I really believe there's been a major shift. And I think it actually happened before the pandemic a bit. I really noticed the whole idea around collaboration. And I think, what you experience, many people experience in many countries. And I think that this timing that you're talking about is breaking down barriers in multiple countries, because I'm sure there could be someone like, maybe a Caucasian singer go to Bollywood How many
Yeah.
people are, Bollywooding that are Caucasian? You know what I mean? But I think that as you are experiencing here, I believe in the last 3, 4 years, it's funny. I was talking to someone yesterday about the song "We Are the World." Remember "We Are the
Hmm.
World" and how unifying that was? Like,
Yeah.
we are the world, and everyone knows that song, "We Are the World." And I think that it's been trickling, but I'd have to say in the last 5 years, I've never seen so much collaboration. You talk about the voiceover community being strong. I've certainly seen it in the last 3 years with entrepreneurs where it was like, whoa, our world just changed. And there was this collaboration like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to turn my business online. I don't know how to, I've been, doing belly to belly. I've been doing networking groups. I've been doing live auditions. I don't know how to turn my business online. And it was the wave of, hey, I figured out Facebook. I can help you. Hey, I figured out Instagram. I can help you. Hey, I know you're scared to do your first Facebook Live. Me too. Let's do it together. Hey, let's collaborate. As someone who has a media company, out came collaborative books. I mean, I'm doing a big one,
Hmm.
262 women in February. Well, March really for International Women's Day, but the collaboration that I think that has happened is very is unified. I first saw that in the clothing sector. My son's a sneakerhead. He's launching his own fashion line. And when I was studying with him, he's like, Mom, I want to be a sneakerhead. I'm like, okay, you want to flip runners? He goes, no, I want to design them. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And so when we started doing the research, you'd see Nike was collaborating with Champion. Now, look, I don't want to date myself, but Champion used to be sold at Zellers. No offense, Zellers, but you know what I mean? I'm like, Nike is doing what with Champion? How much you want me to pay for a Champion sweatshirt now? We didn't even want to wear them in school. We're like, Mom, please don't buy us Champion. You know what I mean? We want Nike. So there was all these collaborations, Supreme and Babe and Adidas and North Face and all these companies that were sustainable on their own were joint venturing. And, there'd be a drop of this and Travis Scott was dropping this runner and, all of that. And I saw this massive collaboration and I think it's very fluid now throughout the world of endorsement, particularly creatives. And so I think that feeling that you're having within the industry of voiceover of less competition. I mean, I won't say everyone's not competitive, right? I mean, there's less competition. I think is starting to leak out. I really do. I really think that it's a new turn. Also, because the Gen Zs now are becoming
Hmm.
entrepreneurs so easily, right? And thank goodness. I mean, there's these 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and they just haven't been in the world long enough to think that competition is necessarily the way to go. You don't have to hoard yourself into that number one position or climb the ladder, right? I mean, I don't know about you. I think I'm a little older than you, but it was about climbing the ladder, making your way, getting to the
Hmm.
next stage, no matter what that looked like, right? So I think you're absolutely right. I'm glad that that's, for you in the industry. But I want to talk about something
Hmm.
because, we all work for what we think is some of our pinnacle goals. What did it feel like when you got the role of this role in Strawberry Shortcake and you're like, what did it feel like to go, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on a Netflix show?
The thing is, it wasn't even a Netflix show when I booked the role. Like that kind of came later. So I remember I was actually here when I got the
Yeah.
email. There was some work happening in the building. So there were these two burly guys checking my like smoke alarm or something. So
Yeah.
it was like randomly there were people in my apartment. My ex was here, and then I got the email, and then I was just kind of like, babe, babe, what? It's like, I booked strawberry shortcake. Ah! And I kind of had to hold it in because there were these two random dudes that were like doing service work in my apartment. Um, but I kind of wanted to like jump around, and it was just so surreal because I had only done one studio. I had done like one commercial for UBC prior to that in studio. And I'd worked on my demo with my coach, but otherwise, it was all just school and Zoom. So kind of for me to kind of get that role so quickly after just a
Mhm.
year of being in voiceover classes, it was still I'm still in kind of in still disbelief. Seeing it on Netflix was actually kind of the biggest thing. Like I still get I watched it this morning And I was still kind of like, all right, I want to
Yeah.
like,
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
yeah,
Well, I think it's important to talk about that. And I love it that it happened for you so quickly. I mean, did it? You were 4 years old. It was there. But do you know what I mean? You were doing your work either externally or internally, holding it. The passion was there, the flame was there. And then all of a sudden, but you put it into activity. I think it's so important to know that things can happen that quickly. You don't have to do the gold watch philosophy, like, well, just give it some more work and you'll get there. True, 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 true. I can't wait to see what's coming down the pipeline for you. But sometimes it does happen like that. Like you said, it could be timing, it could be passion, it could be things lined up. It's your time, and everybody has their time, right?
yeah,
I think
yes.
I think that's the hard thing, particularly in your industry. Like you said, I know a lot of actors that are doing other jobs. But then you know what? There's also a lot of entrepreneurs that are doing other jobs. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are like, it's rent day in a couple of weeks. What are we going to do about that? Um,
Yeah, and I have hit the point where so the other thing that my other coach keeps reminding me is, there's a running joke that like, oh, if you feel like you like nailed the audition but you didn't get it, like some celebrity probably got it. And I have hit the point where I keep getting this close and then I lose out to that guy who's in the Marvel, like or
mhm.
that guy who was in that recent Disney movie. So I am getting up there. And I am
Yeah,
getting, the wait lists and the short lists and the callbacks, but it is a lot of you do really have to kind of just be your own cheerleader. And I think for me again, because I did not have the support of, like
hmm,
I didn't fully have the support, I actually feel like I'm in a weird way better equipped to handle that
right.
because I'm so used to kind of having to trust my own instincts, kind of uh trust my gut. Ultimately it's when I audition, it's that I put my best foot forward,
Yeah.
and then I let it go, and then I try not to even think about it. Like sometimes I'll get up, it's like, hey, you booked the other thing, and I'm like, oh right, I auditioned for that kind of thing. Well, it's kind of, you kind of have to just kind of take it, get excited, and let it go. um because as they say, like if it comes back, then it really was yours. But otherwise,
Yeah.
you and that's something that I do try to meditate, and I do try to journal a
Hmm.
lot, because and I do a lot of stretches because you really do need to kind of be in that zen space of kind of self-acceptance and kind of just having the confidence that you have enough to offer. It's just that you just weren't that person this time. And as a gay man, that's something that rejection is like something that's kind of part of the culture as well, because like
Hmm.
there's I feel like there are a lot of things that I went through in my 20s. So I wasn't an actor in my 20s. So in my 20s, I was a makeup artist. I actually went to makeup school.
Hmm.
And it was a lot of the same thing, only my heart wasn't as fully in it.
Mm.
So
Okay.
it's almost like I'm actually glad that I did 10 years as a makeup artist. And I did get some like some my I love body painting. Unfortunately, this isn't quite the body paint city, but usually if there was like any clients were like, Justin, so we have these two circus performers, and like two of them are gonna be shirtless, and they're both dudes. Like, are you available? I'm like, yeah, I'm available. Because I did kind of get a reputation, because usually body painters are straight men, and they do all these beautiful, or women, and they do these gorgeous paintings on women's bodies. But like I'm gay, of course I'm gonna focus on male physiques. And so but the people who wanted that were and would pay for it like
Right.
full price were so few and far between. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I would do like body, like I did a 5 hour demo for this like gay event in the city, and then they ended up not hiring me after after
Wow.
doing a 5 hour demo for them to show that I could do what they were asking me to do. And it's so I had quite a few kind of um struggles with that, because I as a painter, I do really enjoy it. I get, I like get completely lost in the art form. shuts down, I don't get hungry. I don't need to like use the bathroom. And then once I'm done, it's like, oh God, everything's coming back at once. Oh no. And I've been able to travel with it too. So like with my makeup, I was able to go to Whitehorse. I was flown to Austin, Texas. I've been to LA. So so to kind of experience being an artist in a different way, I felt like was kind of like my precursor to being an actor. Because now it's so much easier. I don't need to like prep for 3 days in advance. I don't need to clean everything. So for me, it's like um uh, everything kind of built into kind of the discipline and the dedication. And then they do say though that the thing that you're most self-conscious about is your truest art form. And for me, like I like because my dad would constantly shut me down as a kid. I developed like almost like a stutter, so I'd always slur my words. I would talk way too fast, and then I get yelled at because they couldn't understand me, and then that would make me like kind of
Yeah.
that would make my speech even worse. So for me, this feels really correct because now I have the discipline to do vocal exercises every day. I sing into like there's this like vocal technique where you like sing into a straw that's underwater for a few
Oh.
minutes every day. And actually, if you've had COVID and you're struggling with like lung problems, that's actually even not for actors, everybody. So just get a cup of water with a straw, like bubble tea straw is usually better, and then just blow bubbles into it. And it's kind of like when you're blowing bubbles in the swimming pool, like when you kind of dunk your head
Ah.
down. And what that does over time is because you're putting resistance on your lungs, it'll kind of help kind of expand your lungs. And especially after COVID, I kind of went crazy. I was doing the vocal exercises for like 30 minutes at a time, which is good because now like if anything, I feel like my vocal quality is like even better than it was before I got COVID. um so
Wow,
it's yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that because I'm a bathroom singer. I used to sing in
Yes.
choir. Yes, I used to sing in choir, and I'm a bathroom singer officially. Me and my bathroom, we think I sound pretty good. So,
I bet you have a gorgeous voice.
oh yeah, yeah. Just ask my kids; they'll tell you. So I'm gonna do that though. I'm gonna do that. I was talking to a vocal coach in Vancouver, and we were having conversation, and so I'm actually gonna do that. Cecile LaRouche, if you ever want to meet her, she's amazing, and her daughter Honey has just sung with like Roberta Flack, and I'm just really beautiful, really
Ooh.
cool. So we're having a chat soon, but I'm going to do that. I think that's great. Makes your lungs stronger. Can't hurt. Yeah. So my bathroom singing is going to get better. Thank you, Kristen.
Yes, yeah, just more resonance. And
Yeah.
it also helps with even for the podcast, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it for like 10 minutes before I sat down to chat, because it also kind of as an actor, there's all these kind of resonance. That's kind of one thing that I learned as an actor, is all these places where your body can vibrate.
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
and we can feel that as people. So I'm kind of going into like the hippy dippy side of things for now, but
Oh, hey, I'm a hippie juju. Look,
yeah.
I shower and talk to my chakras. Okay. Like I had a holistic studio in Vancouver for 27 years and cleared chakras and energy and intuitive, and every one of my staff, we were all intuitives. And so, no, you're talking the right, right language to the right woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you actually focus on different chakras as you're speaking, so like I'm focusing on my voice right now. My favorite is sacral, because
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
funny to kind of talk that
just do
slow,
it.
sultry kind of. And that is a thing I'm finding as a voiceover artist. There's so many more things that are complementary, because as a
Mm-hmm.
makeup artist, everything is very visual.
Mm-hmm.
So as a makeup artist, my world was very focused on the look, the photo. It was always about the final product, the video, the photo. What are we putting out that's visual? And what's the message? So as a non-binary person, I'm always kind of combating this like idea that I'm dolling up for someone. I never
Mm.
doll up for my partner. Like it's like the best thing about him is, like the best thing is like, if anything, it's like, like it's just
Yeah.
me. I never have to put any effort into, if like looking
Mm-hmm.
good for him. But so if I ever doll up, it's always 100% for me.
Right.
So as a non-binary artist, like that's kind of something that I have struggled with as a makeup artist, because I'm doing all these like gorgeous looks, but it's not for me. It's for the viewer. It's for
Right.
somebody else. But as a voiceover actor, it's more about play.
Mm.
And I do something that I'm not religious anymore. I was raised Catholic, but I was
Hmm.
having a chat with this wonderful Jewish woman. We were kind of talking about how we both don't really attend service anymore.
Hmm.
But we said at the same and we said at the same time, but I do miss the vibrations.
Yes.
We didn't say singing, we didn't say chanting, we didn't say any
Yeah.
hymns. We both said we miss vibrating with other people, because there is kind of a unifying thing about singing together
Hmm.
with other people.
Yeah.
And that is something that's ever since becoming a voice actor, I've kind of really noticed. Um, uh, I was just I just went to Squamish, and I was with a bunch of other gay men, and we were kind of having this heart to heart chat next to the fireplace,
Yeah.
as one does, and I could feel their heart chakras kind of opening up to me, and it was beautiful. And I don't think I've ever been this attuned
Mm.
without voice acting, because you do have to be so aware of people think, oh, you just stand in front of a mic and that's it. No, you have to be so aware, like, if I'm going to be big, you have to really focus on opening up your body and making it sound like you're a much bigger guy than you are. There's all these different things that energetically it's moving around you. And I also volunteer for the Richmond Cat Sanctuary.
Okay.
And I my favorite thing is lap cats. I love lap cats, and they've kind of figured it out. We have 370 cats, so I have quite a few cats to,
That's a lot of
to
cats,
cuddle
my
with. That's
friend.
a lot of
Mhm.
cats to cuddle with. And sometimes I have like, two, three, four, five at a time. And they're all vibrating. And one thing I've noticed is now I can tell if a cat's purring with if I can't even hear it. Like I can just feel the vibrations on my leg,
Hmm.
or I kind of
Hmm.
just put my hand the right way and I can just feel their vibration resonating. And it's said that cats purr at a frequency that's designed to mimic the frequency of a human baby.
Oh, wow.
So it's like they've evolved to
Hmm.
to make us take care of them. And I'm like, I'm all for it. I love cuddling cats, and they're a lot less work than babies for sure. So there has been something kind of really soothing. I see them once or twice a week, and it's almost like I have to. It's like my Zen space, just kind of
Hmm.
being around here and all these vibrations, and even the dishwasher, the vibrations of the dishwasher, or the laundry. Like, like I love it. It's just all these kind of things that really make you feel alive. Um, yeah.
I'm glad that you're sharing this information, because one of the things when you were talking, I was like, I wanted to ask you, which you've unfolded so graciously, is what are the things that you do to help you deal with that degree of, rejection? Because it happens a lot in the arts per se.
Yeah.
You go to an art show, no one buys your product that weekend. You go to, and because it's such a personal piece of you, or all of the acting, all of the additions, we hear it over and over and over again, the singing, the gigs, and that you have to have what people call thick skin. And then there's the inside person that has to work with that, deal with that, channel that, digest that, move on from that. And so you really highlighted some things that I think that are really important for anyone that's going to get brave and take on whatever mission that is. And meditating, journaling, tapping, you've clearly tapped into yourself in a way that is healing to you, whether it's chakras, whether it's cats, whether it's doing all of the things that you do to realign yourself and be able to let that go and come back to who you are and keep moving forward from that place. Right? It's like
Yeah.
guarded, unguarded, guarded, unguarded, guarded, unguarded.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So look, I know that we need to wrap up a little bit here, and I wanted to, I mean, I can't wait. I know you must have an Instagram account, because I can't wait to go there and see some of the pictures and all the things that you're doing. So, how can people reach out to you? What's next for you? Like, what's on your agenda? What's your biggest dream? I do have a question for you before you go. So we have a special question for you, but what's next for you, Justin? What's your next, what's your wants, what's your hopes? Like, what you do, we put it out there and someone's going to hear this and they're going to go,
Yeah, so what's next? Strawberry Shortcake is has been I believe we're up for season 3, so I'm really hoping Raisin's back. Hey, Wild Brain. Also there is the Avatar Studios coming up in Vancouver as well. And I've already told my wife was like, "Hi, please get me in. I want to be an Avatar character." So yeah, the Avatar The Last Bender is absolutely my favorite cartoon series. I've watched it every time they come out with a new comic book. I always rewatch the whole series so I can like read the book. Because I can then read the book and then the voices just automatically like kick in my head. It's the
Mm-hmm.
best. So I would absolutely love to be in the Avatar universe as well. And I actually have like a very long 20-year plan. I actually got accepted to go into BCIT for programming. So the thing about me is I've always done art, and so art's always
Mm-hmm.
been the sidekick. So it was makeup artistry, now it's voiceover. Um, I'm not in a place where I can confidently say that voiceover is making me money just yet. So I am planning on kind of tapping out on some of the programmer money, and that's the thing you have to do as a I feel like as a especially as a queer person of color actor.
Yeah.
um there are opportunities. They're still kind of very few and far between. I get more auditions for animals than than people. Or like I was a singing. I could have been a singing flower at one point. Like the human
Yeah.
roles that kind of come my way are still so rare. So it is actually really amazing that Raisin Cane does look like me, my Strawberry Shortcake character, because
Yes.
I didn't think that would happen. Like even my coach, who's also Filipino, like his character is white presenting. Actually, I don't. I'll need to check, but yeah. So like, if it just blows my mind that I'm both Asian and non-binary in a Netflix children's cartoon. Like, and then I
Hey.
could share it with like my family all over. I have family in like San Francisco and the Philippines and Singapore. Um, so and I'm not gonna have any kids, but they are. So it's almost
Yeah.
like I'm the gay uncle is getting to share something this cool with the next generation. So if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram. It's the Justin Saint, and I'm on Twitter. It's Justin Saint. And then there's also my website, Justin Saint BO. So yeah, if you want to keep updated on my adventures, that's the best place to kind of keep up with whatever I'm up to. And I'm hoping that we get some more cool new roles down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to tell my son about the Avatar. My son is an incredible anime artist, and that's the stuff that's going on his clothing line. So I will share that with him. I think you two should chat. But I have a question for you, completely, maybe off topic, not off topic, because you love to sing. You are going to a desert island, my friend, and you are taking one suitcase, and it's you and you. That's it. And you have room for one album, just one, no greatest hits, no playlist. I know you've got your hands to your face for those that aren't watching the video. Only one, darling. Which one are you taking?
Oh my goodness.
I know.
It's a really kind of snooty album, but the when I'm really down, or it's for musical theater people, it's kind of like, oh, it's this is my favorite, but it really is. There's a musical called Sunday in the Park with George.
Okay.
It's a Sondheim musical from the 80s. And there's an album with Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters. Bernadette Peters is like my goddess. Like
Mm-hmm.
she sang to me when she was in town last time because my friend like for my birthday got me like front row tickets, and she sang this lullaby that she sings for like cats and dogs. So it wasn't just a lullaby, it was also a lullaby that she sings for animal rescue. So how freaking perfect was that? And she
So
went
for
down the
you.
stage and then she sang it to my face. That was just like, ah! And actually, I think that actually kind of sparked me wanting to go back into acting, really. So yeah, so Bernadette Peters, there's a song called Move On.
Okay.
Um, and it's really about kind of taking in all of your concerns, all your anxieties as an artist, all these outside
Mm-hmm.
forces, and just moving on. And even before I became an actor, like that song has just been so powerful for me. So I feel like if I'm stuck on a desert island, I'm gonna need the voice of Bernadette to to help me move
Right.
on, so I can like build rafts and like a fabulous hut, maybe a treehouse, something.
Something like
figure
that.
out
Something like
figure
that.
out spearing fish.
Awesome. Well, what a pleasure. I look forward to when you come back again and we start to share more so as you go into your career and what's next for you.
Absolutely.
That'll be amazing. And look, you guys, thank you so much. I have to give a big shout out to our audience because you guys are incredible. You're so faithful. I know that you will share this interview. You'll listen to it. Please comment. We're so grateful for our local and international communities that are just cheering us on with Mission Accepted. I know that you're enjoying this so much. And look, if you want to be sitting where Justin is, if you've got something to share, just reach out. We're not difficult. It's pretty easy, people. It's deb@debdrummond.com. Doesn't get better. You can just go to debdrummond.com. And again, we are going to be embarking. We are launching, and you guys again have been so great, just gracious, but they did it tour.ca. We are now down to about 9 months before me and Corinne leave the beautiful, gorgeous, sunny land of Canada. And we are going to be going to Ireland and walking 8.5 marathons in 8 days to raise money for the music industry. And we are super excited, but here's the deal. We need you right now. So please go to theydidittour.ca. We need to raise funds so we can support artists. 85% of all singers right now can't pay their rent. And we listen to music so freely and it gives us so much joy. And look, you don't have to walk the 8 marathons, but you do. All you need to do is donate or offer something or support or share the word on social media, whatever it is that you like to do, but you can reach out on that. Justin, thank you so much for sharing some time with us today. We look forward to watching Strawberry Shortcake with a whole different perspective. Thank you for doing what you're doing and sharing what you share. And we will talk again soon. So thank you, everybody. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, stay groovy.
Bye.
Bye.